Welcome to this video lecture on Entity Relationship Model. This is for PGDCA second semester 107, Unit 2, DBMS, and the topic is ER model. This consists of the following topics, which today I will be discussing in this lecture: entity relationship model, entity attributes, keys, relationship, types of relations, and a case study of ER model and the tools for making ER diagram. First of all, let me tell you about entity relationship model. ER model stands for an entity relationship model. It is a high-level data modeling. This model is used to define the data elements and relationship for a specified system. It develops a conceptual design for a database. It also develops a very simple and easy to design view of data. In ER modeling, the database structure is portrayed as a diagram called an entity relationship diagram. For example, we design a school database. In this database, a school has many entities like teacher, student, etc., courses, etc. But a simple entity called a student, this is an entity and it has various attributes. And there will be a relationship between these attributes and entities, also with another entities. We will talk about entities. An entity is an object like a class, a person, or a place. In ER diagram, an entity can be represented as rectangles. We can see in this example, this is an organization, has many entities like a manager, a product, an employee, department, etc. can be taken as an entity. Now, an employee and a department are two entities which are related between them, and this can be represented as employee works for department. This is a relationship between the two entities in an organization. The word attribute is used to describe the property of an entity. It is represented by an ellipse. Each attribute, for example, student is an entity as we discussed earlier. It has various attributes like ID, phone number, age, name, etc., etc. There can be many attributes for an entity. So we can choose whatever we want in a particular database. Decide upon what all attributes of an entity are required for our purpose. Now coming to keys. Keys are very important for every entity because an entity can be showing so many attributes, but all the attributes cannot be made a primary key. As a primary key is one of the important attributes for an entity because it is uniquely defined. Like for example, in student entity, many students can have same name or same age. So these cannot be taken as a primary key. But ID each student will have a unique ID, and that's why ID is called a primary key. This is represented by an underline of the name. The term relationship describes actually a relation between two entities, two or more entities, like a teacher and a student in a school are two entities. They have a relation, and teacher teaches student. So teachers is known as a relationship between the teacher and the student. This relationship is defined by a rhombus structure or a diamond structure. There are various types of relationship like one-to-one, one-to-many, etc., which we will be learning today. One-to-one relationship is when one entity is associated in relationship with another entity. Here we can see as an example, a female marries a male. One female marries one male. So married to is a relationship which is called as one-to-one, which can be represented as 1 and 1 written here. This means, looking into it, we can say that this is a one-to-one relationship. The next type of relationship is one-to-many, where entity on the left and has many relationship with entity on the right, like say for example, scientist invents inventions. One scientist can invent many products. So we can see that it is written as one and many. So this is a one to many relationship. Next is many to one relationship, in which sometimes many entities can be related to one entity, like many students enroll to a particular course. There is only one course, but the students are many. So we can represent this relationship as many to one relationship, where m and 1 represent many to 1. This is an example of an ER diagram which we had learned earlier. Here we can see that there are various entities like customer, product and supplier. This is a customer, supplier, product ER diagram, entity relationship diagram, where all things are represented. All the relationships are represented in a diagram called ER diagram. Looking into this diagram, we can understand the concept behind the customer, supplier, product. So we are going to design a database in which all these relationships and entities will be taken into consideration. For example, customer and product and suppliers are the three entities which are written in a rectangle. Each has its own attributes. Customer has many attributes, but only F name and L name as taken as primary key, because this uniquely identify a customer. Similarly, product has product name as the primary key, and supplier has these three attributes with S name as a primary key. Now, this supplier is related to product by offer. Supplier offers product and customer orders this product. In this way, all the things are combined into one ER model. All the tools for ER model are described here. Like a rectangle represents an entity type, ellipse represents attributes as told, diamonds represents relationship types, lines link attributes, and primary key is attributed as an underline. Empty circle at the end of a link, line linking an attribute to an entity type represents an optional null. Double ellipse represent multi-valued attributes. All these tools are used to create an ER diagram, which can be once again shown here. Rectangle, attributes, primary key, relationship, lines are relationships, etc. In the next lecture, we will be discussing more about ER diagram and the schema. Thank you.